Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
You are listening to the Brilliance Business Show. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. Conversations with leading experts in business. Today, I have an amazing guest, Alex Roseman. Alex is an international speaker, best-selling author, and coach. Our topic today is stepping out of your comfort zone into your greatness. Alex, welcome to the Brilliance Business Show.
Mark, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on. When I got the call, I was delighted. So hopefully I can add as much value as I can to your listeners.
We're really looking forward to the conversation today. Before I get started, I just need to make a little disclaimer that Alex is not making legal advice or assistance today. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, Alex?
Yeah, certainly don't take anything I say as legal. That'd probably get you in trouble, that's for sure.
Well, we're super looking forward to a conversation with you today, Alex. Can you share with our listeners a little bit about yourself, your business, and stepping out of your comfort zone into your greatness?
Mark, absolutely. So my journey began obviously from birth, but I won't go that far back. I don't think we have the time. But I will start when my story, my life has really, as I look back at it, has been all about stepping out of comfortable and into your greatness, as they are on my workbooks, as I do in different countries. I was doing a 9-to-5 working for an IT recruitment company, probably around 10 years ago. And I was just winding down from a relationship. It felt like rock bottom, breaking up, losing the dog, losing the 2 cats, the whole shebang. And moving away from Tunbridge Wells to London, I carried on the same job I was in, IT recruitment. And I was just fed up with the monotonous living for the weekend. What is this all about? There's got to be something more. I wasn't within personal development world yet. I didn't know the likes of Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki. I didn't know these people yet. So I stepped into something which was acting, because I was always a fan of it. I did drama at school. So I just left my 9-to-5, went and said, you know what? I'm going to be an actor. And I had no idea where to begin. And I literally started from the ground up. Didn't go to drama school. I looked at it and I treated it like a business. I was selling myself in this industry, as Arnold Schwarzenegger did it. He got his films out there. He became who he was because he knew it was about selling himself, not because of his raw talent. And so I stepped into the world of acting, and I was getting ahead just because I knew how it worked, the industry, the marketing, myself. But then there came a point where I sort of hit a wall. Something happened where I was just not sure if acting was hitting the depth I wanted to go. And then I was sort of lost. I was working in a call center at the time, supporting my acting, and I wasn't sure if acting was my thing anymore. So I was basically just working in a call center, and I felt like it was a crisis point. What am I going to do for the rest of my life if this is not it? I was known as Alex the actor. As I was going through this crisis point in my life, I suddenly just got rid of everything. And I was in a relationship at the time, and it was all so up and down. And I just had to step away. My dad was living in Italy at the time, so I just said, I'm going to go to Italy. And I just was sort of trying to work something out, trying to do anything, really to go through the breakup, to go through this sort of tearing inside. And after a few weeks spending with my dad, I realized that Italy wasn't the place I wanted to live. So I had to get back to London. Now, I didn't really think this far ahead, because when I got back to London, I realized I actually didn't have anywhere to live. And there were a few hairy moments where, I didn't know where I was going to sleep that night. And I remember just sitting on the back of a double-decker bus, my head in my hands, really not being too kind to myself, beating myself to a pulp and thinking, I'm just worthless. I'm nothing. How can I put myself in this situation? What kind of idiot would do this? And, in that point of darkness, I had to pick myself up. And I was doing this, I realized that, the value I was giving to the world was correlation to the value points / money I had in my bank account. Now, if I'm not giving any value to people, I'm not going to have anything in my account. And I was thinking, I've got to be serving other people. I've got to be doing something that is not about me, and I suffer, with myself. And, I feel like I've had many reasons to carry on suffering. If I want to buy into my old story, but I wanted to step away from that. I needed to get myself the tools, the resources to step away. And maybe your listeners can relate to this. So I invested in myself. I went to a program called Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. It was a very hard decision, just investing in myself for a ticket to an event. And I wasn't sure it was all about walking on fire, what's going on. And from that moment I made that decision. UPW was in 2 months' time. And by that time, I was suddenly reading NLP for Dummies. I was just immersing myself in different coaching programs and reading spiritual books. I've got so many ton of resources. If anyone's interested and they want to see the reading list, really will blow your mind. And so within that moment of UPW, and with only 2 months beforehand, where I didn't know where I was going to live, certainly wasn't making any money, I felt I could turn my life around, because 18 months later, I was speaking on a stage in Oxford in front of 300 people in 2 sessions, 300 in the morning, 300 in the afternoon. And that was a challenge in itself. We had the police called, someone in the audience. That's another story for another time. But I was really tested through my first experience. But the audience and what they got from it was outstanding. And since those few months from that first event, I've been speaking in different countries all around the world, representing Tony Robbins for Unleash the Power Within, and got further out my comfort zone by creating my own event called Uncovering the Action Hero Within, which I took to Israel. Now, if you really want to put yourself out there, do an event in Israel. Books are in Hebrew. Not only that, everything is backwards. So, I see a little thread in my life. It's about stepping way out of your comfort and, holding yourself accountable, put it out there. And somehow you just get so focused, so energized by this vision, this crazy vision. And when you see yourself able to achieve these things, like I meditated, and within less than 4 weeks, I had this idea, and I was in Israel creating my event. I had a workshop. I had the books, I had the banner, I had a promo video, the whole thing. So anything's possible. So when I get my clients, what I know is possible for me in a short space of time, I know it's possible for them. So I take them on a bit of a wild, crazy journey, because, if I can go from earning 6,000 in 1 year as an actor, don't ask me how I did that living in London, to making up to 30,000 plus in a month, what is it, right? It's a transformation. It's a way of thinking. So I love just taking people and reshifting their mind, reshifting literally their DNA, kind of goes into their neurons and their biology, and they behave and they become different, and they see anything's possible. So that in a nutshell.
Alex, that's a great story, and I like how you have been through challenges, obstacles, you've overcome them. And another great point is investing in yourself. I have a similar background to you, faced a lot of obstacles and challenges, and like you, I have invested thousands in personal development, coaches, mentors, trainings, and there's no investment in yourself. And I love the way you are helping others. It's motivated you to go out and make a difference in the world? Can you tell me, who are your clients? Who do you serve?
Great question, and thank you, Mark. After you shared your story with me, I was blown away, and I just love how we collaborate and make things like this possible. So for anyone listening who is they feel they're at rock bottom, trust me, anything's possible. You can turn it around. So my kind of clients range from I'm working with sort of Tony Robbins equivalents in different countries. So the people at the top of their game who are looking to step out of their comfortable. And one thing is speaking internationally, so they can do it with English, and they have someone who's going to be able to get them to do that. I have clients who are just wanting to step up and create a coaching business or a business in itself. And I'm taking them through the process so they can take the initial steps to get them out there, to get them seen, to feel what that is. So I have clients from different areas, really, but people who are willing to invest in stepping up and stepping way up, and what they think at that time they want to work on, we take them a lot further in that space. And in fact, I'm setting up a mastermind, and we're kicking off the day before UPW begins, and we've got 20 spaces. Literally discussed with my partner yesterday, for people who are looking to maybe attend UPW, but you don't have to be going to UPW to become part of the mastermind. It's so fresh, though. If anyone's obviously interested and keen, putting you around like-minded people and taking you around the world, it's work hard but play harder, because within the play itself, you are more creative and you can take your business and your personal life to another level.
And is there a specific moment in your mind that really stands out that led to the launch of your business?
A great question. It was when I was working alongside Success Resources, who is the world's largest seminar promoting company based in Singapore, but they look after Tony Robbins and Richard Branson. I worked with them closely when I first stepped 2016, beginning of 2016. When I came back at the beginning of last year from a trip, I decided to branch on my own. After speaking in front of 2,200 people in Israel. This was the first time I went to Israel last year. After that experience, and after the transformation people went through, the experience in itself solidified any doubt that I was capable of doing this. Because even still, I'm helping people, and I have people coming up to me from an event saying, you just basically gave the dying man hope. I mean, literally, words came out of the man's mouth. It makes everything worth it, but you're still not sure. Well, I wasn't sure. Have I got this? Am I doing it? Is it too fast? But when I stepped back from Israel after 2,200 people, and the response I got and everything from it, the energy, the love, I believed in myself enough to just get moving and step out on my own. And it is full of challenges. I'm still going through different challenges. And sometimes I have fights with myself. And, if it's a spiritual or in the 3D world, whatever it might be, I'm still growing. And with growth comes growing pains. But I feel alive more so than if I was sitting behind a desk, sort of plodding along, because I feel light years away. How I think where I was then, with the level of thinking I have now, where I can take someone from where they are to a place where they never even thought they could dream to go. Just based on my own experience of stepping out of my comfort, and I mean way out of my comfort. I literally live with uncertainty on a day-to-day basis, that if I feel comfortable at one moment, I get uncomfortable. I've really trained myself in that way. It'd be nice to get comfortable sometimes, so without feeling uncomfortable. But the point is, it's always pushing me to grow and give and be creative in some capacity.
It's really true. The magic always happens outside of the comfort zone, and it's amazing what can be achieved with self-belief. So I really like that reply, Alex. What really motivates you to jump out of bed every morning?
You know what motivates me? And it's up and down. It's not sometimes every day I might not want to jump out of bed, you know? When sometimes I put myself way out there, I've got so much to do. Sometimes you just want to hide away. But what gets me out is when I attach myself to that vision, to something that's going to reach someone. And when I'm up against it in a way that I put myself there, and I get to serve, and I've got something that's big and it's creative and it's enjoyable, and I feel there's not enough time in the day, which means that I need to get up really early to not only fit in my own morning rituals that I believe are so key to build that foundation of anyone's success, because it gets to a point where they become a habit. And successful people have habits that lead them to become successful. You know, so daily, constant attention to this that compounds over time. And with this, you know, it literally, the momentum takes you there. So what gets me out of bed is having that vision, that large vision that I put on myself, realizing that I don't have a whole lot of time, because I've got this vision that I've held myself accountable to, and I put it out there, and it's in a short space of time. I know I haven't got a whole lot of time, so I don't have the luxury of pushing the snooze button, and I just leap out of bed and I just get moving. If that answers your question.
It certainly does. Again, a great answer. Having a vision is so important, and seeing yourself as that future person already. Rituals, routines are so important. Meditation, journaling, visualization. And like you say, they do become a chore when you first start, but they do become an habit over time. Just like brushing your teeth, there becomes a point where you don't have to think about it, and they become part of your routine. So a great answer, Alex. Why is your service especially important in today's modern world?
What was it? What was the service? My service.
Why is your service especially important in today's modern world?
Okay. So with how we are right now as a species, there's this thing about the older tribe and the younger tribe, the young culture, the old culture. And the old culture way was, if I get this right, 2,800 years ago, where we were just so much more connected to nature, to ourselves, to things that we just can't see. You know, everything has a consciousness, plants, anything living around here. And we sort of lost touch along the way, where the younger culture has obviously led us into where we are now, where we're separated, where people have so much more in their life, but people are feeling so much more alone. Even though we've got all these things to connect us, people are feeling so alone these days. And that aloneness allows suffering to come in, and we're not able to really live our full potential, because we're so stuck in our mind. And when I take people away from their mind, because there's such a limitation to the mind, to the thinking, and we go into a place where we're stepping away from the mind, and we go into something that's into our heart, into the unknown, where it's just limitless possibilities. It's able to raise that level of consciousness, raise the frequency in people, that helps them expand their business. But I'm looking for, when I work with people who have a business that's going to serve people, it's going to add value to their lives, because it's something that's going to help the planet in some way, shape or form. So I'm all about helping people become conscious and that they can take the responsibility of what's happening around the world. Before I would hear about these things, and I think, what can little old me do about anything? Suddenly you invest in yourself, you feel the world becomes smaller and you become bigger as a person, and you can take on these challenges, like Elon Musk, who is really going out there. They're one person. The same goes for anyone else. When they start to believe in themselves, they then know what's possible. And it's just having the focus to just look at your vision, look at what that is. And on the tightrope, on a skyscraper, you just look straight ahead. And as soon as you look down, you'll see all those troubles, problems, crocodiles, whatever is waiting for you. And you will lose your balance. And you will not be able to see that thing in front of you, because you're suddenly so aware of the fear that comes up. So I'm just saying, it's taking people on their step to stay focused on their vision and to not look around and just keep persevering and keep making that happen. And I want to see that in the world, because we need to make a change. And I've got a couple of projects that I'm looking to put together to invite people who are game changers, life changers, who want to do something, make an impact. But it's getting out their mind and out their own limitation to know how limitless they really are. That's why one of my companies is called Self-Limitless Mastery. We're constantly, growing and constantly able to break these limitations. Once you do this, you can start to see that the mind is there to keep you comfortable, keep you staying away from things that are fearful. And to be honest, the only two things that are actually innately in us as human beings that we're born to be fearful of, and the two things are, one is the fear of loud noises, and the other is the fear of falling. Everything else is learned, which the great news is we can also unlearn those fears.
That's great, Alex. And I can see you're coming from a really genuine, authentic place for helping others. And I do feel the world is becoming more conscious and waking up too. And it's great that you're out there challenging people to step up and get out of their comfort zone and really achieve on a high level. What sets your business apart, and what unique need are you filling for your customers?
The need for, the specific clients that I work with is having them really, it's like I teach them and train them, but also have them taking particular action that takes them to a whole new level. It's depending on what business or level they're at the moment. But I just see someone I'm with, and I see with laughter, obviously we've got to have fun, and that whatever they think they're thinking, I want them to 10x it and go even bigger. And even in a shorter space of time, that's how possible it is. So whatever that business might be. I mean, I've got an online course for people who want to sort of dip their toes into personal development, who've never really sort of done anything. It's a program that is in the 7 areas of life. You've got 7 chapters in each area. It's a bit of information, and it's then get to work. I'm all about, not throwing more information at people, because we are drowning in information, but we're starving in action. And I'm all about giving just enough to get going, because the get going is what really makes up your life. And the get going is how you really learn about who you are in a situation that you created from the action you've taken. So I just want to give people just enough, and then get them out there, because that's how you learn.
Now, I would imagine you have all sorts of client success stories. What is one that really stands out in your mind?
Oh, I would have got my testimonials written up for me. I was just going to look at my website and find them. So, you know what? One a few of them have been with people in their personal lives very much. And I look at it like this. I have a theory that whatever relationship you have with your parents is what you have with life. And when I say that on a stage or I'm saying it to people, they usually cringe because their relationship with their parents isn't usually that great. So if they're your first particular view of life, the relationship, and it's not exactly catered with love and you're still holding on resentment, that's going to spread out in areas of your life. And I remember having a conversation / coaching session with someone who was in dire need of it. Within 10 minutes, she got on the phone call with her mum, who she hadn't spoken to for over 20 years. People have been trying to get her to do it. And she spoke to her mum and dad in that moment. And her father passed away a few months after this, but she managed to, after our session, built a relationship with him and her and freed her up. So when he passed, she was in a place where she managed to overcome whatever challenges she had, her story really of what it was. And she's a client with me today, from that. And, she's been to all the therapists, she's been to different coaches. She says she's done the whole thing. She literally wrote this to me. And she said within 10 minutes, Alex managed to see exactly what it was, had to say what he had to say. And within that moment, I was on the phone and it transformed her life.
Well, that's a great success story, helping others to transform their lives. Alex, can you share just a tiny bit more detail on the kind of service and products you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So I speak in different events. I'm speaking at Harley Street tomorrow. I was speaking at the Best You Expo. Just gone, we had 14,000 people pass through it. I enjoy, so when I say entertaining, I like comedy. I like comedy aspects of my talking, making people laugh. So I'm opening myself up to speaking within companies and speaking at particular events. Obviously I've got my mastermind coming up. That's going to be in different, literally bucket list locations around the world. So 20 people, if they're interested. Got my online course. I've got my books, best-selling book, 21 Actions on Amazon. Just one of my first books. It really was about stepping out your comfortable into your greatness. And of course, I'm looking for maybe a client, possibly two, one-to-one. Plus I do group coaching. So I haven't missed anything else out. I believe that's it for now.
And how do clients typically hear about you? And are there certain life moments that usually lead to them seeking you out?
Yeah, I would say if it's not referrals from people I have coached, they've either come to an event that I've spoken at. And it's funny how you say, Alex, you've been very authentic, because generally that is the feedback I always get when I speak, is that I'm authentic. I do not see myself as a perfect human being at all. And I do not judge people, especially people who come to me in a coaching capacity. I'm just an open space, and it's never judging people. Never blame the person. Just look at their behavior, not the person itself. Behavior is learned. It can be learned, unlearned, and it can be transformed. So people generally find me through the events that they've seen me speak at. If it's not on social media, Instagram, also on Facebook, because I do a lot of lives. I just give value. If I'm on it, I just want to share. So generally speaking, that's how clients can find me.
You're doing amazing work, Alex. Is there anything we did not cover that you would like to share?
I was going to read, actually, I had this thing about, if you've heard of the two wolves.
I've not heard of that, no.
Okay. So the fight of the two wolves within you. It will take only about 60 seconds. So an old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside me, he said to the boy. It is a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued. The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old Cherokee simply replied, the one you feed. So I just want to let people know, and there are two of these wolves in us, but wherever you put your focus, where the energy will flow.
Alex, that was absolutely beautiful, and I can relate to it so much, and it really resonates, and it's so true. Very, very powerful. Alex, can you tell our listeners, how can people follow you? How can people reach out to you and get in touch?
Thank you, Mark. Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Alex Roseman. There's Alex Roseman, should I say Facebook, Alex Roseman Speaker. There's Alex Roseman Speaks on Instagram. And my website is www.alexroseman.com. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. And just reach out, and I'm happy to help in any way, shape, or form I can, and send you all the details, and get you to wherever you got to get to.
Thank you for being on the Brilliance Business Show today, Alex. I've really enjoyed having a conversation with you.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure, Mark. You're doing amazing work, and to get this out there and do what you're doing, I admire you a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have been listening to the Brilliance Business Show with your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. Today, I've been having a conversation with Alex Roseman, international speaker, best-selling author, and coach. And our topic has been stepping out of your comfort zone into your greatness. Thank you for listening to the Brilliance Business Show. Until next time, goodbye.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.